Section 1. A hallowed beginning. The universe, a vast and enigmatic expanse, held within its depths a secret waiting to be told, a secret that began with a dance of cosmic dust and celestial fire. It was a time before time where darkness reigned supreme, and then from the chaos, a spark that ignited the birth of our world. Imagine a time when Earth was a molten inferno. Volcanoes erupted, spewing rivers of fire. Meteors bombarded the planet, echoing through the void. The air was thick with noxious gases, yet even in this crucible the seeds of life were sown. Deep within, a molten heart beat with a rhythm as old as time. As the chaos subsided, a new chapter began. The grand drama of life on Earth was about to unfold. Section 2, From Chaos to Order. The early Earth was a place of extremes, a stark contrast to the world we know today. Continents drifted, collided, and broke apart in a slow, relentless ballet. From this chaotic landscape, something miraculous occurred. The planet began to cool, water vapor condensed, forming vast oceans. Within this crucible, life found a foothold, a revolution that would change the course of history. Section 3, A Planet of Change. In the depths of the oceans, shielded from the harsh realities of the surface, life began to stir. Single-celled organisms, simple yet profound, emerged from the primordial soup. These were the pioneers, the first intrepid explorers of a new and unknown world. They were tiny, insignificant to the naked eye, yet they possessed the spark of life. They were also incredibly adaptable. They evolved and diversified, finding new and ingenious ways to thrive in this alien environment. Some harnessed the power of the sun, their tiny bodies becoming miniature factories, converting sunlight into energy. Others clustered together, forming colonies that worked in unison, their collective strength ensuring their survival. Over millions of years, these single-celled pioneers transformed the very planet they inhabited. They released oxygen into the atmosphere, paving the way for more complex life forms to evolve. They formed intricate ecosystems, laying the foundation for the rich biodiversity we see today. This was a slow and gradual process, a testament to the tenacity and adaptability of life itself. But it was also a testament to the power of time. For given enough time, even the most improbable events can occur. The stage was set, the players were in place, and the grand drama of life on Earth was about to enter a new and extraordinary chapter. Section 4. The Spark of Life. From the depths of the oceans, life slowly crept onto land. Plants, those intrepid colonizers, took root in the barren soil, their emerald green a stark contrast to the browns and greys of the primordial landscape. Insects, those masters of adaptation, followed close behind, their delicate wings carrying them to every corner of the globe. And then came the vertebrates, creatures with backbones, their arrival heralding a new era in the history of life on Earth. Fish, amphibians, reptiles, each new arrival more complex, more specialized, more wondrous than the last. The tree of life was branching out, its roots reaching deep into the fertile soil of our planet. This was a time of great experimentation, of evolutionary dead ends and spectacular successes. Giant insects ruled the skies, their wingspans dwarfing those of any bird alive today. Dinosaurs, those magnificent creatures of legend, roamed the earth, their thunderous footsteps shaking the very ground beneath their feet. The planet was alive with a vibrancy and diversity that is hard to imagine today. But it was also a time of great upheaval. Volcanoes continued to erupt, reshaping the landscape and spewing toxic gases into the atmosphere. Climate change, that relentless force of nature, brought about periods of intense heat and bitter cold. And then, of course, there was the asteroid. Section 5. A World of Shadows. The impact when it came was catastrophic. A giant asteroid, a celestial harbinger of doom, slammed into the Earth with unimaginable force. The shockwaves reverberated around the globe, triggering earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions on a scale never before seen. The skies darkened as dust and debris choked the atmosphere, plunging the planet into a long and bitter winter. This was the end of the dinosaurs, their reign brought to a sudden and dramatic close. But it was also an opportunity, a chance for new life to emerge from the ashes. For in the shadows of the fallen giants, a new group of creatures was waiting in the wings. Creatures that would inherit the Earth and shape its destiny in ways that no one, not even the dinosaurs, could have ever imagined. These were the mammals, small and unassuming, yet possessing a resilience and adaptability that would serve them well in the harsh world that lay ahead. Among them were our own distant ancestors, their eyes gazing out at the devastated landscape, their minds filled with a mixture of fear and hope. The stage was set, the curtain was rising, and the final act in the drama of life on Earth was about to begin. Section 1. The Ascent of Man. From the ashes of a world reborn, a new protagonist emerged, not with a roar but a whisper, not with scales and fangs, but with nimble hands and an ever-evolving mind. This was the dawn of humankind, a species destined to walk a path unlike any other. Our story isn't one of triumphal beginnings, but of humble steps taken in a world still reeling from catastrophe. Imagine a world recovering from unimaginable destruction. The air is thick with the smell of ash, and the sun struggles to pierce the veil of dust that hangs heavy in the sky. Yet life finds a way. Small mammals, our ancestors among them, scurry through the undergrowth. Their senses heightened, their instincts sharpened by the struggle for survival. They are creatures of the shadows, eking out a living in a world still dominated by the ghosts of giants. But these early humans possessed something their predecessors did not. A spark of intelligence, a flicker of consciousness that set them apart from all other creatures. They learned to use tools, to hunt together, to communicate in ways that were both complex and nuanced. They were, in essence, learning to become human. Their progress was slow, marked by countless setbacks and false starts. For every step forward, there were countless more steps back. But with each passing generation, the flicker of intelligence grew brighter, the spark of consciousness more intense. And slowly, inexorably, humanity began its long and arduous ascent. Section 2. Shadows of the Ancients. The first humans were nomads, wanderers who followed the herds and the seasons. They hunted with spears and arrows, gathered fruits and nuts, and sought shelter in caves. Their world was one of both wonder and danger. They told stories around campfires, explaining the world and their place within it. Wild animals, disease and famine were ever-present threats, yet through it all, the human spirit endured. And slowly, they began to leave their mark on the world.
Section 3. Whispers in the Desert Sands, Mesopotamia. Between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in a land known as Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization stirred. Here, amidst the fertile plains, humanity took its first tentative steps towards a new way of life. No longer content to merely survive, they began to thrive. The abundance of the land allowed for surplus, and with surplus came leisure. For the first time in human history, not everyone had to devote all their time and energy to the relentless pursuit of food and shelter. This newfound freedom allowed for specialization, for the development of new skills and technologies. Farmers learned to irrigate their crops, ensuring a bountiful harvest even in times of drought. Craftsmen honed their skills, creating pottery, textiles, and tools of exquisite beauty and utility. Merchants established trade routes, connecting distant communities and fostering the exchange of goods and ideas. But perhaps the most profound innovation of all was the invention of writing. With the stroke of a stylus on a clay tablet, humanity took a giant leap forward. Knowledge, once confined to the realm of memory and oral tradition, could now be recorded, preserved, and transmitted across generations. Section 4. Echoes of the Nile, Ancient Egypt. Farther south, along the banks of the majestic Nile River, another great civilization arose. Ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs and pyramids, of hieroglyphs and hidden tombs, emerged from the desert sands, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. The annual flooding of the Nile, predictable and life-giving, transformed the surrounding desert into a fertile oasis. The Egyptians, masters of irrigation and agriculture, harnessed the river's bounty, creating a surplus of food that supported a burgeoning population. With their basic needs met, the Egyptians turned their attention to grander pursuits. They erected colossal temples and pyramids, monuments to their gods and rulers, structures that still inspire awe and wonder today. They developed a complex system of hieroglyphic writing, preserving their history, beliefs, and dreams in intricate detail. The Egyptians were also skilled astronomers and mathematicians. They developed a calendar so accurate that it is still used as the basis for our own. They charted the movements of the stars, unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos and their place within it. Section 5. Ghosts of the Indus Valley Civilization. In the fertile plains of the Indus River Valley, another great civilization flourished. The Indus Valley Civilization, known for its advanced urban planning, sophisticated sanitation systems, and enigmatic script, remains a source of fascination and mystery. The cities of the Indus Valley, such as Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, were marvels of urban design. Their streets were laid out in a grid pattern, their houses built with standardized bricks, and their drainage systems were far ahead of their time. The citizens of these cities enjoyed a level of comfort and sophistication that was unmatched in the ancient world. The Indus people were skilled craftsmen and traders. Their pottery, adorned with intricate designs, has been found as far afield as Mesopotamia. They developed a system of weights and measures that was both accurate and standardized, and they left behind a wealth of artifacts, including seals engraved with enigmatic symbols, tantalizing clues to a lost language and a forgotten past. But the Indus Valley civilization, like all civilizations, eventually declined and fell. The reasons for its demise remain shrouded in mystery, a reminder that even the greatest of civilizations are not immune to the vagaries of time and fate.
Section 6. A World Adrift. As civilizations rose and fell, humanity continued its relentless march forward. From the fertile valleys of the Nile, the Tigris and the Euphrates, to the rugged mountains of Greece and the windswept plains of China, human ingenuity and ambition knew no bounds. But this progress, well, it came at a cost. Wars raged, empires crumbled, and countless lives were lost in the pursuit of power, wealth, and glory. The seeds of conflict, sown in the earliest days of civilization, continued to bear bitter fruit. And yet, amidst the darkness, there were always glimmers of hope. New ideas emerged, challenging old assumptions and pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. Great thinkers, artists, and leaders arose, their contributions shaping the course of history and leaving an indelible mark on the world. The stage was set for a new act in the grand drama of human history, an act filled with both promise and peril, an act that would see humanity confront its greatest challenges and achieve its most remarkable triumphs.
From a humble village on the Tiber River, Rome rose to forge an empire spanning continents. Driven by ambition and military prowess, Rome's legions marched, spreading Roman law, engineering, and culture. Yet beneath the grandeur, Roman society was built on the backs of slaves, and the Colosseum's bloodshed revealed a darker side. The Colosseum, a symbol of Rome's might and brutality, echoed with the cries of gladiators and beasts. Gladiators fought to the death, their fate decided by the crowd's whims, while animals from across the empire met their end. The Colosseum was a microcosm of Roman society where social hierarchy was on full display, providing a perverse sense of unity. The Roman Empire crumbled, giving way to the uncertainty of the Middle Ages. Knowledge was lost, cities fell into disrepair, and roads were overrun by weeds and bandits. The Catholic Church emerged as a powerful force, while life for most was a harsh struggle for survival. Even in the darkest times, the human spirit shone through. Monks preserved ancient manuscripts, universities emerged, and the Islamic world experienced a golden age of scholarship. The Crusades exposed Europeans to new ideas, sparking a renewed interest in the wider world.
Europe emerged from the Middle Ages, embracing a spirit of inquiry and creativity. The Renaissance saw artists, writers, and scholars push boundaries, rediscovering classical ideas and innovating. The printing press made knowledge accessible, while a new spirit of humanism emerged amidst ongoing conflicts. The Renaissance's spirit of exploration led to voyages that altered human history. Columbus's 1492 voyage marked the beginning of European exploration and colonization of the Americas. The encounter between Europeans and indigenous peoples led to profound consequences, including conflict and cultural exchange. European powers pursued empire, driven by discoveries and ambitions. The Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British established vast empires, leading to global trade and exploitation. This era of progress and plunder sowed the seeds of future conflicts.
The Industrial Revolution transformed production, society, and humanity's relationship with nature. Factories and steam engines revolutionized industry, while railways connected markets. The revolution brought both benefits and costs, including pollution, dangerous working conditions, and social inequality. World War I shattered the illusion of progress, leaving a scarred landscape and millions dead. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand ignited European tensions, drawing nations into conflict. New warfare technologies turned battlefields into charnel houses, resulting in unprecedented casualties. After World War I, disillusionment and new ideologies emerged. The Treaty of Versailles sowed future conflict, while the US retreated into isolationism. The Russian Revolution gave rise to the Soviet Union, and the Roaring Twenties masked deeper economic issues. The storm, long brewing on the horizon, finally broke. World War II, even more devastating than its predecessor, engulfed the globe in a maelstrom of violence, hate, and unimaginable cruelty. The forces of darkness, unleashed by totalitarian regimes, threatened to extinguish the light of freedom and democracy. Imagine a world once again at war, but this time the conflict is even more widespread, more brutal, more merciless. Cities, once centers of culture and commerce, are reduced to rubble by aerial bombardment. Entire populations are targeted for extermination, their cries for help lost in the smoke of crematoria. In 1939, Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany, driven by a twisted ideology of racial purity and territorial expansion, unleashed his armies upon Europe. Poland, its pleas for help ignored, was quickly overrun, its fate a grim foreshadowing of the horrors to come. The Soviet Union, initially allied with Germany, joined the fight against the Nazis after being betrayed and invaded. The United States, drawn into the conflict after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, mobilized its industrial and military might on an unprecedented scale. The world watched in horror as the Nazis implemented their genocidal plan to exterminate Jews, Roma, LGBTQ+ individuals, and others deemed undesirable. Concentration camps, those factories of death, became symbols of the depths of human depravity. Section 6. The Atomic Ghost. From the depths of scientific exploration, a new horror emerged. The atomic bomb, a weapon of unimaginable destructive power, cast a long shadow over the world. a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for self-destruction. The genie, once released from the bottle, could never be put back in. Imagine a blinding flash of light, followed by a deafening roar that shakes the very foundations of the earth. A mushroom cloud, a harbinger of death, rises into the sky, casting a dark pall over everything in its shadow. In August 1945, the United States, in a desperate attempt to end the war in the Pacific, dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed instantly, their bodies vaporized by the intense heat. Countless others died in the days and weeks that followed from radiation sickness, their suffering a testament to the horrors of nuclear war. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki marked a turning point in human history. The world had entered the nuclear age, an age where the very survival of humanity was at stake. Section 7. A World Divided. The world, exhausted but not yet at peace, emerged from the wreckage of World War II. The old order, shattered beyond repair, gave way to a new global reality, one defined by the rivalry between two superpowers, each armed with enough nuclear weapons to destroy civilization many times over. Imagine a world cleaved in two, divided by ideology, suspicion, and the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation. The Cold War, a conflict fought not on traditional battlefields but in the shadows through proxy wars, espionage, and propaganda, cast a long shadow over the second half of the 20th century. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies against Nazi Germany, now found themselves locked in a global struggle for supremacy. Each superpower sought to spread its influence, the United States promoting democracy and capitalism, the Soviet Union championing communism. The Cold War, while never escalating into a direct military confrontation between the superpowers, fueled numerous proxy wars, from Korea to Vietnam to Afghanistan, claiming millions of lives and leaving a legacy of instability and mistrust. The world watched in fear as the two superpowers engaged in a dangerous arms race, each side amassing vast arsenals of nuclear weapons capable of destroying life on Earth. The doomsday clock, a symbol of global existential threat, ticked ever closer to midnight. The Berlin Wall, that potent symbol of a world divided, crumbled under the weight of its own contradictions. The Iron Curtain was lifted, revealing a continent weary of conflict and yearning for a hopeful future. Imagine the scenes of jubilation as people surged through the newly opened breaches in the Berlin Wall. Strangers embraced, tears of joy streamed down faces, and the air crackled with the electric energy of a world transforming. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 sent shockwaves around the world.
A new millennium dawns. The 21st century dawned, a new millennium filled with both hope and uncertainty. The world, still grappling with the legacy of the 20th century's tumultuous history, faced a future fraught with complex challenges. Globalization's uneven distribution of wealth, the rise of religious extremism, the looming threat of climate change. Yet amidst these shadows, the indomitable spirit of humanity, its capacity for innovation, compassion, and resilience, flickered like a beacon in the darkness. Imagine the world on the cusp of the new millennium, a kaleidoscope of possibilities, a tapestry woven from threads of hope and despair, of progress and peril. The internet, that revolutionary tool of communication and information sharing, connected people across continents, cultures, and languages. Knowledge, once confined to libraries and universities, was now available at our fingertips, empowering individuals and fostering a global exchange of ideas. Medical advancements continued apace, pushing the boundaries of human lifespan and improving the quality of life for millions. Diseases once considered death sentences were now treatable, chronic conditions managed, and the human body, that marvel of evolution, better understood than ever before. Yet, amidst these triumphs, shadows lingered. The gap between rich and poor widened, fueling resentment and instability. Religious extremism, a toxic brew of fanaticism and violence, reared its ugly head, casting a pall over communities and igniting conflicts around the world. The unseen enemy, a silent, invisible foe that crossed borders with ease, spread fear, and challenged human society. The COVID-19 pandemic tested our resilience, exposed inequalities, and forced us to confront our shared humanity. Cities transformed into ghost towns, streets empty but for the echo of silence. The virus spread with alarming speed, crippling economies and overwhelming healthcare systems. Borders closed, schools and businesses shut down, daily life upended. Healthcare workers tirelessly put their lives at risk to save others. Scientists raced to understand the virus and develop vaccines. The pandemic revealed the best of humanity: compassion, resilience, and dedication. As the world reeled from the immediate impact of the pandemic, a more insidious threat continued to gather momentum: climate change. The Earth, our only home, was warming at an alarming rate, its delicate climate systems disrupted by human activity. The consequences, already being felt around the world, were dire: more frequent and intense heat waves, droughts, floods, and wildfires, rising sea levels threatening coastal communities, and the displacement of millions of people. Imagine a world where the seasons are out of sync, where once fertile lands are parched and barren, where coastal cities are swallowed by the rising tide, where millions are displaced from their homes, their lives upended by the changing climate. Glaciers, those ancient rivers of ice, melted at an alarming rate, their meltwater contributing to rising sea levels. Coral reefs, those vibrant underwater ecosystems, bleached and died as ocean temperatures rose. Forests, the lungs of our planet, burned at an unprecedented scale, releasing vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further accelerating the cycle of warming. The scientific evidence was overwhelming, the warnings from experts dire, yet the response from those in power remained woefully inadequate. Short-term economic interests continued to trump long-term planetary well-being, as the fossil fuel industry, its profits dependent on the continued burning of coal, oil, and gas, wielded its considerable power to delay action. The consequences of inaction on climate change were becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Wildfires, fueled by drought and extreme heat, raged across vast swathes of land, turning forests into infernos, consuming homes and communities, and blanketing the air with choking smoke. Floods, once rare occurrences, became more frequent and intense, inundating cities, destroying crops, and displacing millions. Imagine the terror of fleeing your home in the dead of night as flames race through your community, the sky ablaze with an eerie orange glow. Imagine the despair of watching as floodwaters rise around your home, your belongings swept away, your life's work literally washed away. The human cost of climate change was mounting, with the world's poorest and most vulnerable communities, those least responsible for the crisis, bearing the brunt of the impacts. Food security was threatened as droughts and floods disrupted agricultural production, leading to rising food prices and social unrest. Water scarcity, already a pressing issue in many parts of the world, intensified, fueling conflict and migration. The world, it seemed, was on fire, both literally and figuratively. Yet, amidst the despair, there were glimmers of hope. Renewable energy technologies such as solar and wind power advanced rapidly, offering a cleaner, more sustainable alternative to fossil fuels. Young people, their futures at stake, rose up in protest, demanding action from their leaders and holding them accountable for their inaction. As the world grappled with the interconnected challenges of the 21st century, the echoes of the past continued to reverberate, reminding us of the fragility of peace, the dangers of unchecked ambition, and the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. Imagine standing amidst the ruins of a once great city, its buildings crumbled, its streets overgrown, its former glory now a distant memory. Imagine listening to the stories of those who lived through times of great upheaval and change, their voices carrying the weight of history, their words a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and division. The rise of authoritarianism, a spectre that had haunted the 20th century, re-emerged in the 21st as autocratic leaders, exploiting fear, division, and economic uncertainty, chipped away at democratic institutions and norms. The lessons of history, it seemed, had not been fully learned. Yet, amidst the shadows, whispers of hope persisted. The human spirit, that indomitable force that has driven progress and innovation throughout history, continued to find expression in acts of kindness, creativity, and courage. The story of humanity is a tapestry woven from threads of darkness and light. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, conflict, and cooperation. As we face unprecedented challenges, we must remember the lessons of the past. Within history lie stories of hope, courage, and the enduring human spirit. We have the tools to create a just, equitable, and sustainable world. The choice is ours. Succumb to past shadows or embrace the light of hope. The undying ember of hope resides in our everyday actions and choices.